Welcome back. So today, we're going to crack a code that's more than 2,000 years old. I mean, long before we had computers or anything like them, ancient civilizations had to protect their most vital secrets. We're going to dive in and uncover exactly how they did it, and you might be surprised at why their methods are still incredibly relevant today.
It's a really fascinating question when you think about it, right? Imagine your messages are being carried by a lone messenger on horseback. How on earth do you make sure that if he gets captured, your secret plans don't fall right into enemy hands?
For guys like Julius Caesar, who were leading legions across huge territories, this wasn't just some fun little puzzle. It was literally a life-or-death problem. A single intercepted message could mean losing a battle or, heck, even losing the entire war. They absolutely needed a way to hide information right there in plain sight.
And this need for secrecy, it's not new. It's basically as old as writing itself. As soon as people could send messages to each other, they needed a way to make sure only the right people could actually read them. And that's where human ingenuity really starts to shine.
So this brings us to one of history's most famous and one of the earliest forms of encryption, what we call the Caesar cipher. And for its time, you have to admit, it was a brilliantly simple and, well, a pretty effective solution.
The Caesar cipher is a perfect example of what's known as a substitution cipher. And the core idea? It's really simple. You just take the letters of your message and you swap them out for other letters based on some kind of secret rule.
The whole process is actually beautifully simple. It just breaks down into 3 easy steps. First, you've got your original message. We call that the plain text. Second, you and the person you're sending it to agree on a secret number, and that's the key. Finally, you use that key to shift every single letter, and that creates the unreadable code, the ciphertext.
Now, Caesar's favorite key, his classic go-to, was the number 3. All this means is you slide the entire alphabet over by 3 spots. So A becomes a D, B becomes an E, and so on. And when you get to the end of the alphabet, no problem. You just wrap right back around to the beginning. So X becomes A, Y becomes B, and Z becomes C. Easy.
Okay, let's try it out. If our plain text message is AWASIX and our secret key is 3, the A shifts to D, the W shifts to Z, and so on, right down the line. The final coded message becomes DZVL-DVWHULA. Now, to an enemy spy, that's complete gibberish, but to your general, who knows the secret key is 3, the instructions are perfectly clear.
Seems pretty clever, doesn't it? You've got a secret key, a hidden message. I mean, for its time, it was a solid system. But it has a fatal flaw, a really big one. And the problem, really, is its own simplicity. There are only so many ways you can actually shift the alphabet. An enemy who gets a hold of your message doesn't need to be some kind of genius to crack it. They just need to be patient and systematic.
And that leads us to a code-breaking method called an exhaustive key search. You've probably heard its more common name, a brute force attack. The name really says it all. You just try every single possible key, one by one, until the nonsense turns into something you can actually read. So let's put on our code breaker hats for a second. Imagine we've intercepted the message XMZVH. We have no idea what the key is, so we just start trying everything. Okay, a shift of 25 gives us YNIWI. Nope, gibberish. A shift of 24 gives us ZOBXJ. Still nothing. How about 23? APCYK. Still doesn't look like anything.
We keep trying, and then, boom, we get that aha moment. We try a shift of 21, and all of a sudden, XMZVH becomes cream, a real word. We found the key, and just like that, the code is completely broken.
And when it comes down to it, it's all about this number, 25. See, for the 26 letters of the English alphabet, there are only 25 possible secret shifts you can try. Doing that by hand might take you a few minutes, but for a modern computer, it's instantaneous. The security just isn't there. So this really obvious weakness, it forced the codemakers to evolve. They had to. If a simple, predictable shift was way too easy to break, then they needed to make the substitution a lot more complex and a whole lot harder to guess. So they moved on from a simple shift to a completely jumbled up alphabet. In the Caesar cipher, that pattern is fixed, it's predictable. But in what's called a monoalphabetic cipher, the substitution is totally random. A might become Q, B could turn into X, C might be J. There's no simple pattern to look for anymore. And when you look at a substitution table like this, the difference is just staggering. The ciphertext alphabet is a complete mess. It's not just shifted over in a nice, neat way. It's totally scrambled. And that scrambled alphabet itself is the new, much more complex key.
Which, of course, raises the big question. Just how much harder does this make it for our code breaker? I mean, how many possible jumbled alphabets are there to even check?
Well, the answer is this absolutely mind-boggling number. It's 26 factorial. It's more than 400 septillion possible keys. We went from just 25 keys to that. And with a leap that big, the simple brute force attack becomes completely, utterly impossible. Not even the fastest supercomputers we have today could check all of those keys in the entire lifetime of the universe. The codemakers have struck back, and the game has totally changed.
So you might be asking, okay, why are we still studying these ancient, simple codes? It's because they are the absolute bedrock on which all of our modern digital security is built.
There are really three key reasons. First, they teach us those core concepts: plain text, ciphertext, keys. Second, the basic idea of substitution is still a fundamental building block in the complex algorithms protecting our data right now. And third, by seeing how these simple ciphers get broken, we learn how to think like a code breaker, and that helps us spot weaknesses in any security system.
It's such a powerful idea, isn't it? This constant arms race, this cat and mouse game between making codes and breaking them. That is the engine that drives all of cybersecurity. It's a battle that started with Caesar, and believe me, it is still going on right now, inside every single device you own.
So, we've gone from a simple shift of 3 letters all the way to a number of keys so vast we can barely even comprehend them. We've seen the birth of this ancient battle of wits. But it leaves us with a really critical question for our time. In a world of quantum computers and global networks, what does it actually take to truly keep a secret safe?